Welcome to this tutorial. This is a continuation of our hip and ball padding video. It's like a series that we are on. Okay, so for this one, we are cutting our pattern on our fabric. Okay, so this is the exaggerated hip and I just cut it on my fabric exactly as it is. This is the back piece, and for this back piece we just have one more thing to do before we cut, and which is to add the zipper allowance. And of course, this allowance is also going to enable us to get our slit. The slit is important if you want to walk in the skirt. Okay, so it's important you have a slit to enable you walk, and that's why I'm adding 1 inch. So this is at that zipper side, at the center back side. Okay, this is where you add the 1 inch and then you just connect it. This is the only thing that will be adding on this fabric for the back, and then every other thing will cut as it is. Please, if you have not watched the previous videos linking to this tutorial, please watch it, and so that you'll be carried along. Okay, so I'm just going ahead to connect the lines, after which I will cut. Okay, so everything is set, and we're just going to cut. Okay, so please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I advise you pause and then subscribe, like this video, turn on your notification bell so you get notified when I drop new content. Trust me, they are so amazing, you won't want to miss out. So we are done with our back piece. This is our foam. I'm using a 1/2 inch foam for this tutorial. Okay, now take note, I'm using a 1/2 inch foam because I'm just adding 2 inches to my hip. Okay, so 1/2 inch times 4 gives me 2 inches. If you want to add more to your hip, you may consider a bigger size of foam. Okay, but I don't recommend something more so big. 2 inches foam, it's unnecessary. 1/2 and 1 inch, the 1/2 inch foam and the 1 inch foam serve very well. Okay, so it's better you double than to get those big size foam. Okay, so this will do just fine, and I'm going ahead to cut. I just placed my pattern on it and I'm cutting exactly. I also want to say, if this is your first time trying this, when we went to get this foam, we discovered in this part of the world where I am, it is not sold in pieces. You have to just buy the whole sheet. Okay, so you may just want to prepare if you want to go and get it. If it's so in your location, that's how it is in my location. I just have to buy the whole sheet, and so that's why I have that big size right there. But of course I'm still going to use it for other clients, so that's not something to worry about for me. So just place your pattern on the foam, fold it into 2 as I did earlier, and cut. It is very important that you label this pattern. Very important. Label it just like you labeled your pattern paper. Okay, you would need it. And then look at the way I flip this pattern over. Take note, look at how I flipped it over. Why did I do this? Remember that our hip, there is a left side and there is a right side. If you don't flip it over like this, you stand the risk of creating patterns for one side. Imagine it's like this. Imagine you are labeling like that. You're going to stand the risk of creating, maybe at the end of the day when you're done, you discover that you just have all left sides of hip or all right sides of hip. So it's important you flip it and label it where you label where it's going to indicate that this is the left hip, this is the right hip. Okay, so that's why I took time to flip it over like that and to show you as well. So this is the padding for the front, and I'm also cutting it out as well. Ensure you cut exactly your pattern. You don't want any excess edges. If you're done and there's excess foam, you can just trim it out like I'm doing in the video. Trim it out so that we just have exactly what we have on the pattern. Okay, so this pattern is ready. I'm also going to label it just transfer the labeling you have on the paper, transfer it to the foam. Watch the way I flip this over again. Now look at this. Yes, so can you see that? So it's just to ensure that I have both sides of my hip well represented. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to align the patterns together, and then I'm going to mark 1 inch round the foam, okay, and not really all around the foam, just at the sides of the foam. So where you have S, where the side of the pattern, not the part that will be joined. Please take note, it's not the part that will be joined, just the sides, okay, of the foam. Mark 1 inch, just round it. I'm just using my free hand to do that, and we are doing this to enable us even the foam. And I'll be doing that with my scissors, as you see me doing this video. So you're just getting it, just chopping off the foam at that area. We don't want it thick at that area, we just want it a little bit slim at that area, so that when we have our hip parts on, they are not looking suspicious. You just want everything to align, okay, just to blend in, so somebody from far or even close will not notice that your skirt is padded. Okay, so that's why we are just chopping off the foam at that area, and that 1 inch helps to serve as a guide. Trust me, if you do not have that guide, you may chop more than necessary. Okay, we just need that place to be slim so that it kind of graduates into the hip, okay, so it doesn't look implanted. Okay, so that is why we are doing that, and I'm just going to do that all through for the remaining of the foams. The center, the parts for the joining, you don't need to chop it off, because that's like the center. By the time you join, that's going to be like the center, so you need that place full. You just need the sides a little bit chopped off to even everything, to even the curve when it is sewn or attached to the skirt. Okay, so we are done. I just put the video on speed at that point, because by now I guess you should know what we're doing. Okay, now this is the cloth gum or a hair stain, and this is a soft gum. I just showed you both. Now look at this cloth gum. This cloth gum doesn't tear, but the soft gum, like you just saw, it tears easily. I recommend that you use this cloth gum or hair stain or suit gum, just something that is the gum that is like a cloth, okay, not the paper stay. Do not use paper stay, because if you're going to reuse the dress, you're going to stand the risk of your paper stay tearing apart. And for the sides of this pattern, we are going to be leaving 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch just for joining. So if you join your paper, your padding is going to tear. That's if you're going to reuse. So that's why I advise that we use the cloth gum. And if you just watch while I was talking, you see the way I iron this. I just place it and use the cloth gum, the hairstay or the suit gum. I just use it to cover the hip part. Just make sure that everything is covered front and back, and then you can see I'm cutting, leaving 1/4 inch for joining, but at that center, okay, at the side where I have my arrows, I will not be leaving any joining allowance. That I'll be joining the foam to the foam. It's just at the sides of the pads that I'll be having joining allowance. Okay, so in case you didn't catch this, I'll be doing it for the second pads as well, so you can just follow, and then of course you'll be carried along. Yes, please ensure you give it a good press. Ensure you press it. And if this is your first time using the cloth gum, there's a side that has the gum. The rough side usually has the gum. Okay, now look at this. I recommend using a white suit gum for this very purpose. Okay, because if you cover it, the white is kind of transparent, so you can easily see where you had your markings on the foam and replace them on the covered parts. Okay, if you use black, you may not easily identify where your marking is, so that's why I recommend white, because white is transparent. Now look at me covering it again. Just pay attention to what I'm doing here, and then you get the gist. Okay, so this is it. Now covering it with white, the foam is transparent. I can easily replace the markings. Okay, and of course we are good to go. So just ironing, and then watch the way I'll just flip it over just to cover the front and the back, and give it a good press and cut it. Remember, while cutting our side, we're going to be leaving 1/4 of an inch for joining, but at the center we'll not be leaving any joining allowances. So this is it for the preparation of our hip parts. Just go ahead and label and we are done. Okay, so the video continues from here. Stay tuned for our next tutorial and I'll see you.